Welcome to Comics in the Making. My name is Ryan Holgerson. I'm the creator of Slackmatic, and I'm joined, as always, by Levi Erickson, the creator of The Big. Levi, how you doing, man?
Yeah, doing great. I love it. The weather is beautiful. All the yard work is done for the weekend.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's like going to be like 83 degrees
Hell yeah.
today. Ugh, I don't know if I like it or not. I don't know. I guess it's okay.
Like this
It's
so
all
you
right.
can like this so you can hate the 98 degrees with 90% humidity.
Yeah, that's true. True. So I think today we're gonna kind of go through our week almost,
Yeah.
and kind of talk about the ups and downs of at least my week, and but then also how that kind of applies to the overarching uh span of an artistic career.
Yeah.
So so earlier this week, a friend of mine, she invited me to it was like a little book swap thing, but they had vendors and stuff set up, and it was in Rock Hill, right down the road from where I live.
The
Which
epicenter of comics.
I know. I realize all of my appearances for like the next 2 months are all in Rock Hill.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
Heroes Con is okay, but man, Rock Hill is where it
yeah,
really.
I mean, I can't. It's 10 minutes away from me, so I can't complain. But anyway, so we were set up at the Common Market in Rock Hill, which is a cool kind of bar convenience store. Like it's a it's an interesting place. I know we played the one in I think Plaza Midwood, like
Yeah.
freaking, like, I don't know,
Yeah, years ago they did
13,
shows.
13, 14 years ago.
Yeah, years ago they did shows there. They were fine. They were free shows. I think they were free.
Yeah.
And the patio of the Plaza Mill. See, Common Market exists all over kind of the Charlotte Mecklenburg area, and I guess down to the York County, South Carolina, extension. And so, but the Plaza Midwood is the one that is the hub, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it had an outdoor patio. They would do shows with a very tiny stage, very treacherous place to exist if you're having to do anything other than keep yourself from falling off about a 3 foot brick
Well,
embankment.
so when we played, do you remember, this would have been 13, 14 years ago, but we had a giant hailstorm come through Charlotte and just destroyed everything. I mean, there were insurance claim adjusters all over
Yeah.
the Charlotte area. Okay, that's the night we played the Common Market, and so we couldn't play outside. We had to play inside, and you know,
Dude.
in between songs, we're like right next to the counter where people were buying like beer and cigarettes or whatever. And I'd finish a song, and the line was like going out in front of me. And so in between songs, people would be like, "Hey man, that's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of like Sonic Youth or something." And I'd be like, "Thanks." And then, and then we'd play another song or whatever.
Good old Plaza Midwood from over 10 years ago. And that might have been it was like our first couple years, so it would have been 2012, 2013. There wasn't a huge window when they were having, I mean, they would have like not just people with acoustic guitars, they would have hardcore bands,
Yeah.
obviously, amplified bands up in that space. And when we played, there was a rainstorm and we got to set up in front of the juice cooler
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
we played inside too. And yeah, the exact same kind of thing. People waiting in line and just sort of a captive audience.
Yeah.
And everything. And I think the storm cleared and the next band got to play outside. Um, which arguably, could have been a worse situation, because now,
Yeah.
anyways, but
So anyway,
yeah.
yeah.
So Common Market. Now you
Uh,
know what Common Market is. So when Ryan talks
Yeah.
about this book swap show, You
Yeah.
know what it is.
Hey, you know what? It's a hipster gas station without the gas. That's what it is, you know.
Yeah, you can get wine poured.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a fun place. So anyway, we set up there. It was a friend of mine invited me, so it was free. You had to provide a table or whatever. She had a table, so it was easy. And it was 4 hours, like 4 to 8 on Wednesday. And I sold one book.
Yay! Yay!
Um, I was very much on the same level as everybody else. I mean, it was, it was one of those shows where, everybody's walking around going, I don't know what happened this time. I don't know what usually we got a lot of people. I don't know what happened this time.
I don't know.
Uh,
Wednesday, eight
um,
to 4 to 8, I think is what happened.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, on a Wednesday, I would think, I don't, that would be a better time. But anyway, uh, thing is, I wasn't super bummed out by that or anything. Here's the thing. I met the promoter for the show. Uh, he does a lot of screen printing, he does stickers, a lot of digital printing. I got his information. We were talking and hitting it off and stuff like that. So I made that connection. I had a small family come by my table and we spent like
Like, how small were
I
they?
don't
Were they like under 3 feet?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No. I meant number. There were three people, okay? It was a mom, a dad, and their son. Uh and we spent like, I don't know, 15-20 minutes just talking about like anime and manga and stuff like that.
Nice.
Um, they didn't buy anything, but they followed me on Instagram, and maybe that's something
No,
down the
yeah.
road.
Yep.
And then I sold one book to somebody, and they seemed real excited. And here's the thing, this was a spot where no one was going there to like find comics.
Yeah.
No one was going there to find, they honestly, they probably weren't even there for this event. They went in to grab something to eat or get a drink or a beer or whatever,
Mhm.
and they see a bunch of people set up, and it's just kind of, well, what do they find? And so I was thinking about it as, you know if I had plunked money down for this event,
Mhm.
I'd never do it again. You know
Yeah, it's just
but
reality.
yeah, but for it being a free event for me, um I really didn't see it as a huge giant failure.
Hmm.
you know I still made a connection.
Yep.
I still reached at least one person enough to buy a book, you know, and hopefully she'll buy more books or she'll follow me on Instagram. And that's what we talk about all the time, is how, it's a marathon, and you can't, no one just snaps their fingers and all of a sudden the stars align and everything is perfect,
Yep.
you know. So later on in the week, I was trying to finish up my story for this Friday. And, we talked about it a couple episodes ago, the whole Ed Piskor thing and stuff like that, and how a lot of us, I mean, boy, in retrospect, it's real. I mean, it really slowed down people's creativity that week. It just really
Wow.
it hit people, understandably so, just the whole situation. But so I'm trying to get back into it, trying to get this story done. I'm pretty excited about it because it's like a 10-page story, and usually when I release a longer story with more stuff going on, like it does really good. And release it Friday like I normally do, and really didn't do what I've been doing the
Hmm.
past year. Um really kind of got buried in the comic subreddit. I don't know what happened. It is what it is. Um, thing is, all the comments I got were all positive. No negativity. I still gained some followers on Reddit. Still gained some followers on Instagram. Um, I had people really uh attached to a new character that I put in there. Um, go read my new comic this past week, From the Depths, but it's just this tentacled monster. And I couldn't tell you how many comments I had on Reddit that were, oh, you've got to keep him in there. I hope we keep seeing him.
Nice.
One said, if Cappy's not in the next one, we riot. Um,
Nice. That's the kind of
well,
feedback that really matters, though. You know what I
well,
mean?
it is. I hate it's. He's not going to be in the next one, but you know, uh, but
Call the National Guard.
I think yeah, I think I actually commented, "What have I done?" Uh, to that.
It sounds like you
So
unleashed the Kraken.
yeah, I know. You know, we've talked about this before. It's like you just never know what's gonna hit with people, you know. Um, and that's the thing. This comic really didn't seem like it hit super positively, but that character did. You know, so I'm you know, probably gonna have to put him in there somewhere again.
Oh, it's audience capture, man.
I guess, yeah. So I was a little disappointed on how this week was turning out. You know, I had a show you know, that didn't go very well. I put out a comic that didn't reach the expectations that I had. And I don't want to say I was feeling down, but it was just like, ah, man, this really is just peaks and valleys and stuff like that
Mhm.
doing this, you know. And and then yesterday I got a sale on Etsy for, you know, almost all of my books, which is decent size order.
Yeah.
So now I'm back up, you know. Now I'm like, oh, all right, you know. And I think just this week I can look at it and say, yeah, that's how the last 20 years have been, you know. Like I would just, oh yeah, I'm on the right track. And then, oh no, I got nothing. And then, oh, I'm on the right track. Oh, I got nothing. Um, so it's been I don't want to say it's been a roller coaster because honestly, I had a good time. You
Mhm.
know, um, but it definitely was one of those weeks where it's like, okay, I've still got a long way to go, you know, and that's fine. I actually enjoy that journey, trying to get there, you know.
No, yeah, and it's like the video that we had premiered today as we are recording this episode. So this I'm referring to Time to Quit, which premiered at the morning of Sunday, April 14th. So it kind of ties into that, like, you know, if you're expecting instant results, then good luck to you. If you don't understand that it's a game of it's a marathon and even maybe a game of inches to an extent. Um, you could even say a game of averages. Anything you're putting out there in the world, sometimes you can't just expect just everything just to go up, 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 and up. And if it does, good on you. I mean, you've got bottle that and sell it. I'll buy some, but it's going to flow up and down for you, and sometimes hopefully that trend is higher than where it began. But just because you're having a downswing and things aren't getting the traction you were hoping that they were, you don't have to jump to reevaluation and reinvention, necessarily. Give it time, give it the due diligence and put the work in, and see where that takes you. But if you feel like you're banging your head against the wall, then yeah, try some, mix it up.
Oh yeah. Well, and yeah, so this week was definitely not a uh okay, I've got to reevaluate
Yeah.
everything week. This was all right. It didn't go how I thought it was going to go. Um, let's do better next week, or let's see what happens next week. You know,
Yep.
um, and I'm so I should have my books by it says Tuesday. I feel like I'll get them earlier, but anyway, I should have the first uh collection of comics from this year this week. Um and my goal is to put out a uh pretty much monthly book
Mhm.
of everything I do this year.
Right.
So it's April right now. I'm collecting everything from January. Next month I'm going to collect everything from February, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Um but uh that's gonna be a journey. That's gonna be I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm heading right into it of what do I do if this is successful? What do I do if this is a failure? How long do I wait before I go, okay, this isn't working. I'm not getting the benefit from doing this. Because I mean, let's face it, this is going to be a even on a small print run level,
Hmm.
this is still going to be a somewhat sizable printing bill every single month, you know.
Right.
And so I'm getting ready to go into uh this period where I know I'm gonna have to kind of I don't have to, but I'm gonna want to write this out for at least, maybe half a year, maybe longer of seeing how this goes,
Hmm.
I'm not sure I want to, if I release the issue this week and I sell one, I, I don't think I'd be like, all right, well, not doing that anymore. I want to keep it going, you know.
Right.
But if I get to 6 months and I've sold six, then I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to go, uh, is this worth it? Maybe or I just need to rethink it.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah, last week was kind of like a hard one for me too, just for, just internal reasons and stuff. I didn't get all the work and goals met that I wanted. I am finishing up the cover for the number two, the mini comic.
yeah.
And once that's finished, today, I suppose, and then number two will go off to the printer, and then the mini comic one and two are will be ready to go out in the world with the collected, that full size floppy, that some of them are already out there of the collected edition, and pushing myself to get uh yeah, I'm halfway done with what will be number three.
Mhm.
And I like this format because for me it enables me to put out a book closer on that monthly release schedule than at 3-4 months between issues.
Yeah.
And I know we live in a different space than we did, with the classic comic book production schedule. And sometimes you got to wait some time. I mean, sometimes people like us may do a whole series, boom, and then release them out on a monthly basis, even though it took them 3 years to finish the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
But I would rather just kind of turn those over and have a schedule a little bit more similar to what you're doing um on this series until the series meets its end, and then it's on to the next project.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so back on the horse. I got the tablet in front of me right now as we speak, and while we were kind of pre-gaming, I was finishing up the colors for this cover, and I'm pretty stoked on it. I feel like it's going to be a fun introduction to that second part of the story.
Yeah. No, we talked about it last week, but I'm really looking forward to uh to see what this does for you,
Hmm.
because I can tell how excited you are about it, you know. Um, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, dude. And having, and having you go, oh, I got 10 more pages, and it is always something that just gets me going. You can do 10 pages, dude. And then I go,
Yeah,
yeah, but I don't use a tablet. I do the traditional art. It's like, yeah, fuck that. You can crank that up and get that stuff going. Just keep analyzing the workflow. Analyzing the workflow and do the damn thing.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think so. I think this week will mark over 100 pages for me this
Nice.
year.
Yeah, this
I'm
year.
I'm yeah. I'm pretty sure it's this week.
Awesome.
It's either this week or the next week, but I think it's this week. I'll have to go back. I've lost. Yeah, it's funny because like that first month of doing this, I was keeping track every week. I think I even put in some of the posts, that's 30 pages done this month or whatever,
Yeah.
And now 4 months in, or three, 3.5, and I've lost track. Dude, it's I've forgotten like stories that I did, just a month ago. Because um that's the thing, putting these issues together, uh going back to January and compiling all these stories,
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh, I did that one in January. Oh, okay, all right, and
Yeah.
then and then going, well, what did I do in February? And then I go to February and I'm like, oh shit, oh man, I forgot about that one. And it was only 2 months ago, but because it's a different story almost every week, it's like
Mhm.
I don't have time to even reflect on these other ones,
Yeah.
Um, God knows what it's going to be like in a year or two if I keep this going, like I
Well,
just
your assistants will be doing a lot of that heavy lifting.
I hope so. Oh my God. I would um
You'll be pushing them out, away from the thing. Let me ink the faces.
yeah, yeah, so I'm just gonna ink faces. I'm just gonna write them in ink faces. Well, I'll have a writer's room. Well, yeah, we'll all knock it out in a room, and we'll have a nice whiteboard, and what's Audrey and Dad gonna do this week? And someone will suggest something. I'll be like, "You're fucking it. Get the fuck out of here."
And
You know.
then I gather my stuff and leave the room in shame.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, um, yeah, no. It's fun to think about world conquest. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the ultimate plan. I mean, you guys just have no idea, but there's stuff in the works that's just gonna dramatically change the landscape of comics in this. I was gonna say the country, but I mean the world. Yeah, it's gonna be the world. So
that's where I'm starting. And then I'm just gonna start on the world, and then it'll
see
be,
where it goes from there.
if I get to the moon one day, you know, I'd
Hey,
like to be the first cartoonist to sell a comic book on the moon.
you could be the highest selling comic book creator on the moon if you.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it was
just
Mitch
one.
Hedberg. I think Mitch Hedberg said, "Yeah, I want to be the first man on Mars, not because I want to be the first man on Mars, but I want to be the man on the planet who's best at everything."
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Mhm.
And uh it's kind of off subject. Well, not
What
really, but
subject?
wait, yeah, it's something I don't. Let's talk about juice boxes. No. What's your brand? Capri Sun or Juicy Juice? So uh so I'll tell you what I've been thinking about though a lot this week. Um, I mean, really for the last few weeks. And we talked a little bit about this in the Burn It Down episode.
Mm,
We've talked about it in the cons episode.
yep.
I feel like with what happened with the whole Ed Piskor thing, and I'm just talking about just the drama before he took his own life and all this stuff and all the talk I see about comics community and stuff like that. Um, when we think about us as creators and trying to make our way, hopefully make a living and stuff like that. And we talk about, I always hear comics community, comics community. Um, but then I'll find a cartoonist or an artist who I've never fucking heard of in my life,
Yep.
and they're making it happen.
Yeah.
And they might have, I was telling Levi about this before the show. I found this guy, he's a Swedish artist. Uh, he was interviewed on the Dark Art Society podcast, which I really like. And guy's got 1 million followers on TikTok. He's got like 100 some thousand on Instagram. I never heard of this guy.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm a little bit tapped in
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
art, especially
you
like
are
like
for sure.
like like horror art and comics art and stuff like that. And never heard of this guy. I love that. I love that that tells you out there as a budding creator or whatever, um, you have not found your community yet. You haven't found your audience yet,
Yep.
but it's out there.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess I bring up the whole comics community thing just because you don't. Hey, I love the comics community. Don't, I'm not saying, but you don't need it. You don't need it.
Yeah.
It that's not what it's about. It's about carving your own path.
Hmm.
You don't have to do what everybody else is doing, and
Yeah.
you could be just fine.
Yeah.
If
100%.
if it doesn't work for you, why are you doing it? Comic conventions don't work for you. Why are you doing them?
But
You
it,
know?
it's great to have like a support base and network and like collab groups and things to get the creative juices flowing and all that kind of stuff. But they can also sometimes be like self-serving and self-replicating. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like sometimes you can be stifled by being, involved in like a group if you have one locally. Sometimes that can be stifling. Now, if you don't have a group or resource, um, that can be very isolating. So
yeah,
it depends on what we, just like we talk about the comic book industry. My first question is define industry. What does that look like? Comic book community, what does that look like? Does that mean the handful of creators that live in this town that we get to brush elbows with every now and then? Does that mean, bringing in the internet aspect of it, of followers on Instagram, subscribers here on our YouTube channel, other people that create that we look at. So we want to talk about what the community actually is. Um, because as we parallel music, DIY music with DIY comics, um, it's really hard to be a band when you're somewhere where there's no other, doesn't have to be other members, but there's no shows, no other bands. It's just kind of you. And I know what that feels like. I know what that looks like.
yeah,
Um, so, um, you know, building your own community is kind of on you. You can join one if you have one at your doorstep, or you can try to build one. Um, and then, kind of see where that goes and what that does for you as a creator.
yeah. Well, we're building one right now,
Mhm.
and and we're gonna start a cult out of it. Um, just full disclosure, I just wanted to start a cult, and I thought comics, they're
Yeah.
naive and gullible. So,
No, I mean, but I mean, for real, I mean, we've got this channel, we're growing. And, thanks for the support from our viewers, and thank you for subscribing, liking the video, engaging with us in comments, and sharing it, and hopefully, letting other people know who might be interested. I mean, for community's sake, it could be just Ryan and me talking to the camera, talking to each other, or we can all be engaging, and then that leads to other places, and then we follow your YouTube show or your Instagram, and we've got some
I'm
friends
not.
here. We've got some friends here in town, and we are kind of all coming from that music side of it, and we're kind of like we have a little chat growing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah,
and so
that's the thing when not to, sorry, I
yeah, yeah,
interrupted,
yeah.
but no, I mean, when I think of comics community for us right now, it's like me, you, and Jeff, like
Yeah.
that's our comics community. And not that we don't have friends and other people that we talk to, but when it comes to people that we're comfortable with and talking about our craft and stuff like that, it's the three of us that are, talking that stuff out, you
Mhm.
know. And I think it's because we do come from similar, backgrounds in music and stuff like that. I think we're all on a similar level in our career and stuff like that. So I think it's good to have that um support.
No,
I
yeah, yeah.
guess. Yeah.
You know, and that's what I think of when I think of like a community, or on the punk side of it, the punk scene, for all of its, you know, whatever, all of its baggage and bullshit. Um, it really feels good when it works. And I
Yeah.
think it elevates people who are creating to do their best, when wielded responsibly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Like
I
when the cult
when the cult
starts,
starts, when the comics in the
it's,
making cult starts,
yeah.
yeah, we've got more banners on the way. We're just gonna start putting on people's tables,
Yeah.
you know. And
I I've got some altars and statues coming.
so so yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll break those out when the time is right.
It's got a little Kool-Aid dispenser in the
Oh,
statue. And the
but but
correct
but
the
but
correct answer was Capri Suns.
as
Capri
soon as soon as
Suns
we formulate
is the
that
best juice box.
as soon as we formulate the Kool-Aid that just compels you to buy our books nonstop.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. What were you thinking? That's all it does. I don't know. All right, Levi, we got a few minutes left. What do you
Yeah, we
got
got
for
a few
sale?
minutes.
What do you want to push?
All right. So uh the first issue mini comic is at the Etsy store in the link below. And that's a 12-page story. It's chapter one. And following shortly behind it on the Etsy store, you will find chapter two, which is the next uh portion of that first kind of story. When that drops, behind it will be available the 6x10 floppy that contains them both, with the Bernie Wrightson variant cover, the Swamp Thing homage cover. So that will go on. Look for the number two available this week on my Etsy store, and then, like I say, shortly behind that release, then we'll have that little collected edition. Will fall behind that, and number three is in progress.
All right. Uh, First of all, I've got a Patreon, patreon.com/slackmatic. It's only $2 a month. Uh, get all my comics as soon as they're done. You can see how much I procrastinate every week to get a story done. Um, we talk about all the production that I do, but if you're a patron of mine, you find out that it's all fucking Wednesday and Thursday when everything starts like popping up. But anyway, only $2 a month, you get everything that I do. I've got like I don't know, 1,600 posts or something like that on there. So go check that out. Really helps a lot. I've got The Egg. This is one of my newest books, 24 pages, black and white. It's on my Etsy store. And by the time this video drops, I think, hopefully I'll have the first issue of my hopefully ongoing monthly series out. And it's called The Wizard Staff. It's gonna collect everything that I did this past January. And that's the plan moving forward is every month everything gets compiled. They're going to be all full color, glossy cardstock covers. I put a matte lamination on it. It should be really, it's going to be really nice. I hope. I'll find out in the next day or two.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, channels popping up, seeing a lot of growth, and we couldn't do it without you guys coming along with us for the fun. I hopefully enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next time here on YouTube. Like and subscribe and share.
Hit the bell notification
Yeah,
and drink more juice boxes.
Capri Sun, which
Oh,
is technically not in a box.
it's not. Just do the damn thing.